Hello everyone and welcome back to the Safari Shots podcast. I'm your host Lance van der Pfeiffer and my co-host as always, Philia Steyn. How you doing, Philia?
How are you, Lance? Good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, feels like it's been at least 6 months.
Sounds like that you've got a fun podcast lined up for us today.
Yeah, so today we thought we'd try something different for the podcast and get a little bit silly with things and just have a good old game of Would You Rather.
Would you rather explain to the viewers a little bit how it works?
So basically, we just come up with the daftest ideas we can possibly think of and then ask you, would you rather or would you rather? Would you rather start or would you rather go second?
I would rather start because I've got quite a cool one for you to start. And this one is specifically for you. Very, very serious one as well. Would you rather go camping in Kruger for 2 weeks or run a marathon in Crocs in 40-degree heat?
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I know what your answer is there. You'd run the marathon in Crocs in 40-degree heat. No, so my first would you rather is it's basically the polar opposites. Would you rather go and see and photograph the polar bears in the Arctic, in Svalbard, or would you go to the Antarctic to go and photograph penguins and all the other wonderful things down there?
Oh, so that is actually a very tough one because both are kind of on my bucket list. But anyone who's spoken to me in the last couple of years knows that the polar bears are my bucket list trip. So this time around, I'd have to say I would rather go to Svalbard.
And is it literally just because of the polar bears specifically? Because I know how badly you want those penguins on the beach with the beautiful sunrises and sunsets. So is it polar bears that trumps the penguins?
It is, sadly, yeah, it is. I have been looking into more penguin photography as well, but more South Georgian islands, which is pretty much on the way to Antarctica. Not necessarily Antarctica itself, but yeah, purely because it's the polar bears. It's the polar bears, yeah.
Well, as you would know, that neither of those trips are sadly on my future because I don't do boats, water, seafood, or anything. So yeah. I'm going to have to live vicariously through your photographs. And just very quickly on a side note, is it something that you're planning to do with Panthera photo safaris, the polar bears, or not quite on the radar yet?
So we are thinking of it. We have about 8 to 10 people showing interest. So They recently changed the permit system in Svalbard, so you now cannot get that close to polar bears unless you're basically way out in the I think it's in the pack ice or in the archipelagos. You can't get them within 500 meters of a bear, and I don't own a 1200 mil with the 2 times teleconverter, so yeah, we're kind of just putting it on pause a little bit to see if there's different options, or seeing if the permits change it all back. But I know a lot of guys who actually been recently, and it sounds like there's ways around the 500 meter permit distance. Okay. So yeah, maybe we'll be looking into it again soon.
Cool, man. Well, hit me with your first would you rather. I don't know why I'm sweating. Why am I nervous about this first question?
So my first one was actually quite boring for you. It was, would you rather stay in 5-star accommodation or self-drive and camp? But I think I might know your answer.
Could I push you to be more specific? Because, some fully catered 5-star lodges are better than others. Do you have specific locations in mind?
Let's say the best 5-star accommodation in the greater Kruger and self-driving and camping in the Kruger.
Ooh, see, I'm glad you said that because you've specified the Kruger. I'm actually going to go for the 5-star accommodation in Kruger. I've had a little bit of a few bad experiences in Kruger lately, self-driving, probably because I spent too much time in the south. Had you asked me whether I'd stay in 5-star accommodation in, say, Kauai, Savuti versus self-driving there, I would have gone for the self-driving. And that's actually quite funny because that was one of my questions for you, is whether you would do specifically 5-star accommodation in Kauai, Savuti versus self-driving there. So I'm going to immediately throw it back to you, having answered that I'll do Londolozi or Singita or one of those. But if I say to you, you've got, let's make it long, like 2 weeks. You could do 2 weeks, 1 week at Machaba and 1 week at Savuti Elephant Camp. But you're with guests. That's the caveat. You're with guests. So it's all about the guests and not about yourself, or self-driving on your own, camping a week in Kauai, a week in Savuti in your own car, and you can do whatever you want for however long you want.
Are they nice guests?
You don't know how nice they are. You've never met them before. Would you rather?
Oh, I think I'm going self-driving for the first time in a long time.
Nice. I would do that as well in a heartbeat.
Yeah, why not, eh?
I suppose it's worth explaining a little bit to the viewers why we would say that, because I think sometimes people get the impression that we have this amazing job that we're just on holiday the whole time. But the reality is, I don't know about you, but it is for me, that when you're with paying clients, especially when you're in a high-end place like this, their expectations are so high that it comes with a great deal of stress in the first place, you wanting them to have an amazing time. And there's so many uncontrollables, from which guide you're going to get on that side, what the weather's going to do, what the animals are going to do, whether or not your vehicle actually lasts, whether the guests get along, and then on top of that, you're always parking for your guests. So you're not necessarily walking away with the best photographic opportunities yourself. Yep. And that's fair enough, because that's the job we signed up for. But when you go there on your own and you're self-driving, you maybe sacrifice the fact that you're not in radio contact, or you can't always off-road, but you have that freedom to sit with the baboons for as long as you want, or just to look for leopards the whole day, and be a little bit more selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. 100% nailed it. Yeah. There's a big difference being somewhere for yourself and being somewhere for other people. 100%.
Yeah. And I think you and I have done this long enough that we could be a little bit selfish every now and again.
Yeah, why not?
Why do you think I have a YouTube channel? Right, hit me with your next would you rather.
Right, this one's a little bit out there. Would you rather swim across the Okavango Delta with hippos and crocodiles included, or have to walk through a herd of Duggar boys on foot?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I am very scared of crocodiles. Like, really, it's probably the one thing I'm scaredest of all the animals and maybe everything in life. So I think I'm going to chance the Duggar boys. You know, if you did say a herd of Duggar boys, so if this herd of Duggar boys decided to, mingle, I'm hoping that they're pretty chilled out. But yeah, I reckon swimming through the Delta with crocs, I think you're toast. I think you have no chance. No chance. If you walk through the herd of buffalo and you make a big noise, I reckon you might be able to chase them away. But yeah, I'm going buffalo. I think I'm dead either way, but I think I'm going buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got an interesting one for you. So I don't know whether you saw recently. I don't know why I almost said our dear friend. He's a fellow wildlife photographer, but I've never met him. Did you see that Kevin Dooley won some competition the other day? He always wins competitions with beautiful predator photos. He photographed a jaguar running through the water, and his prize was a Canon R5 II and a Canon 600mm f4 RF lens. I calculated it. It's worth $18,000. So Would you rather?
Yes, I want that.
Wait. I've made it difficult. Would you rather win the Natural History Museum Wildlife Photographer of the Year with no prize money, or win another photographic competition and get a prize worth $20,000?
Sure. Honestly, I think that one's actually quite easy. I'd rather win the Wildlife Photographer of the Year, purely because for us and our company, it would pretty much set us up for the next 10 years. So, which is going to be worth a lot more than a $20,000 lens. But if someone happened to just ask me if I wanted a $20,000 lens, I probably wouldn't say no.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. The reason I thought about this, I'm not sure whether you guys saw, but fellow South African Wim van der Heever recently won Wildlife Photographer of the Year. And as he said when he did his speech, for all of us, it's a lifelong dream. It's the biggest accolade that we can get as wildlife photographers. It's basically the Oscars of wildlife photography. And I haven't tried for quite a long time, but I do feel it's a tricky one because you often have to conceptualize shots. And I remember last year in one of our first season of the podcast, we actually looked at some of the previous winners. But boy, it's tough even cracking the top 100, let alone the top one.
Yeah, and you never know what the judges are looking for in specific years. I mean, there's always some shots at which you think, how did these get here? And then there's always these mind-blowing ones that you see that don't quite make it to the top. So, yeah, it's a very, very difficult thing. But, very nice, cool that our South Africans won it for a first time in a long time, and with an African animal, because African animals, they get spammed by African animals. Yeah. So very difficult to win with an African animal.
Yeah, and also there wasn't really a very much of a conservation story there. It was more a story of years of trying. So a lot of effort over the years to try and get the shot. So it was kind of nice. I like the fact that it moved away a little bit from endangered species and the plight of the animal and so forth, just back to a nice, hard-working, and like you say, getting a brown hyena on there. I mean, how often have brown hyenas featured in photographic competitions?
Yeah, I can't say I've got many nice brown hyena photos. So, yeah. Very cool. Right.
Throw me. Hit me.
So, my next question to throw you is, would you rather take the best shot of a leopard anyone has ever taken, but it's obviously out of focus and it's unfixable, or just take average leopard shots for the rest of your life?
You're going to have to give me a little, you're going to have to explain a little bit more because how can it be the best shot if it's out of focus?
Well, let's just say...
Do you mean I had the best opportunity?
Yeah, let's rephrase it to that, yes.
I think because I'm not really trying to enter competitions or be the best wildlife photographer. For me, at the moment, photography, because I do so much YouTube on the Safari Expert YouTube channel now, 90% of what I do is taking videos. So a lot of the shots that I take these days are they're record shots, they're marketing shots for, maybe for Instagram and stuff like that. So I'm actually quite happy, just as long as I can keep seeing leopards, I'm happy to just keep photographing them as long as they're not like grossly out of focus. I think I'm with your would you rather, I'm worried about the fact that the photo looks crap, even though it was an amazing opportunity. But if you meant that, and I'm not sure whether you did mean that, maybe you can clarify. If you meant that I could only see amazing leopard sightings and not photograph them, or see crap sightings and photograph them, I would take the good sightings and not photograph.
That works for
me. I've kind of clarified what I thought about it. Does that make sense?
No, I like that. Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool. Well, I'm going to throw you one that's got to do with leopards then as well. The scene is Mala Mala in the Greater Kruger, one of the best places to photograph leopards and predators in South Africa and probably the world, and one of my favorite places to go to. And would you rather have exclusive access to a wild dog den on Mala Mala, 15 dogs with 10 puppies, no other vehicles, and you've got exclusive access for the duration of, let's say, your week there, or exclusive access to a leopard lair in a koppie on Mala Mala with 2 cubs? But you can only choose one. So you're going to the wild dog den, or you're going to the leopard koppie for that week?
How old are the cubs?
The leopard cubs are, let's make them 3 months old, so nice and playful, little blue eyes. And the wild dog puppies are also out of the den, playing daily, lots of socialization, but still very much in the den. But you're seeing them twice a day.
That is very difficult. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't know why. I've been quite unlucky with leopard dens and small cubs and wild dog dens. The best opportunity I ever had for wild dogs pups in a den was at Swalu when I worked there, but I was on probation while they were denning. And as soon as I started game drives, they left the den. So, and they had a beautiful den site which was open. You could get nice and low. You could get relatively close. So the shots coming out of that den were incredible, but I never got to see it. I saw it as a hole in the ground of that's where they used to be 2 days ago, So I don't know.
I stumped you.
I would need to. You know what? I would need to see behind the scenes images of each den site first before the guide told me which one would you allowed to go to, because either would be amazing for me.
so I'm going to push you for an answer. I'll set the scene a little bit better. So the wild dog den, it's not that scruffy thick stuff that you imagined. It's a nice open area that they've chosen. It's the side of a termite mound, so the pups do sometimes run up the side of the termite mound. So, and because of the little gully just in front of it, you can kind of get at eye level. And the way that it's positioned gives you morning front light and evening back light. And it's nice and dusty as well. The leopards, however, you know that area when you drive out of Mala Mala and you
off to the northeast,
you turn left and you go down the Manuleti and you got all those rocks, and then there's the koppie on the other side. So it's that kind of picture perfect koppie. But you are photographing just a little bit up. They're not like eye level. They're a little bit up, but there's like a shelf rock that they.
Let's do wild dogs.
It's the right answer, Lance. I would do with wild dogs in a heartbeat as well.
Okay, so here's a very serious one for you. Would you rather have your tent collapse in a storm in the middle of the night, or have 100 flies land in your food each time you ate?
I think I've had the first option happen to me before. No, I'll take the tent. Yeah. Tent I can fix or manage. But
remember, it's in a storm.
Like I said, I think this has actually happened to me before.
I think it has too.
I'll take the tent and I'll climb into my car, because I would have had to get there somehow.
Fair
Always
enough.
I'm eating flies, man. Right. Next one for you. Someone comes overnight and steals all your Canon gear. And Nikon and Sony both feel so sorry for you that they're offering you free gear. You can choose. Replace Sony. Why?
Oh, actually, let me think about that for more than 12 seconds. I like Sony cameras better than I like Nikon cameras.
Really?
I do. The menus suck, but the actual cameras, the autofocus, the speed, Sony cameras are so much better than Nikon cameras. But
the ergonomics of those Sonys and the menus are terrible.
Yeah,
terrible. No, a lot of you are going to hate me for saying this, but they're terrible.
I don't care if you hate me. The menus are terrible. But you only really have to go through the menus once or twice, and then you never have to do that again. The problem for me is, I think Nikon's got some of the best, Nikon, whatever. It's got some of the best wildlife photography lenses out there. The 400 2.8 with the built-in teleconverter, the 600 f4 with the built-in teleconverter, the PFs, the 600 PF, the 800 PF. Oh, how much gear are they giving me?
Whatever you want.
Oh, I'm
going Nikon all the way.
Really? For the lenses or for the cameras? Or both?
No, I just like the feel of it. I don't think I would get better shots just because of Sony's autofocus. It's really about how it feels in your hands, and whether it's operator friendly.
Yeah. Oof. So the Sonys I think are smaller too, which is nice for traveling, and it's nice for enough. Getting lower if you're trying to like hang out of the vehicle and get some low angle shots. I think it's easier to do on a monopod.
Listen, take your time if you need time. While Lance is busy thinking, why don't you pause the video and write in the comments some other would you rather questions? Come up with your best ones, and if you enjoyed this video, let's say if this video gets 500 likes, we'll do another would you rather, and we'll use some of the best ones you put in the comments.
This was a lot harder. I went stupid. You went hard. I think I'd go Sony. I still think I'd go Sony.
Look, the Sonys are amazing. Cameras. The Sonys are amazing, let's be honest. But it's an interesting one. I'm glad I've got my Canon though. I feel very comfortable with my Canon.
No, honestly, the way Canons are built in the customization and the menus, I think they're a lot better than the current offerings from our fellow competitors. Yeah.
Right. Hit me with another one.
Well, I had another stupid one for you. It was, would you rather be bitten by a tsetse fly every 5 minutes, or have one mosquito that buzzes in your ear for eternity?
It's the eternity bit that got me, because tsetse flies are the worst.
They're
the
not
worst.
great.
I went to Rwanda a few years ago to do some YouTube work up there in Akagera. And we drove from a little bush camp in the north of the park down into the plain to photograph some buffalo. They came down to this sleigh area, and we saw them from the camp that has a beautiful view. And my guide said, "Do you want to go down and film them?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." Promise you, we got down into the herd, and I got attacked. I think I lost a liter of blood from those tsetse flies. And not only do they suck you dry, you then itch for another week after that, and then you'll itch for another week after that. So
hurt.
yeah, I think what I'll do, I'll take the mosquito, make friends with him, I'll call him Steve, whatever, and just live with him, because no, tsetse flies are the pits.
They are seriously trash.
And back on a serious note, you have to admit though, when planning safaris in East Africa, along the whole rift from Mana Pools north, you have to actually consider tsetse flies. Time of the year, how are you going to handle them? What are you going to do to actually not have an absolutely miserable time? And whether that's wearing longs that's have insect repellent on it, or spraying something like Dettol or whatever over you, have to find a way. And I found one of the best things is not to wear blue or black, because those are the two colors that they're most attracted to, especially blue. I once made the mistake to drive to the Serengeti in a blue truck, a blue bucky. And I promise you, they would follow me as I drove in like their hundreds. We had to close the windows. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, they're not my favorite thing in the world. Although I hate mosquitoes too, because I'm that guy. If there's 20 people in a room and one mosquito, guess who gets bitten?
Yeah, fair enough.
This guy.
You know what? So with Steve, what I'll do, when he comes to sit down, I'll just catch him and I'll pull his little proboscis out. If I'm not allowed to kill him, I'll just pop the little proboscis out. And then he can buzz, but he can't bite me.
You could do that with the tsetse flies, I suppose. Well, no, because they're biting you.
Yeah, not if there's that many. Right, let's make it serious again. Would you rather go to Mashatu in the wet season with guaranteed yellow flowers for a week, or in the dry season and have access to both Motobole and Lala Limpopo hides, perfect dry season conditions with epic sightings both around and away from the hides, but no real color in the felt? Same guide, same lodge, just different seasons.
It's not actually as hard as I'm making it sound. I would do green season. Easy. I love their photo hides in particular. I love shooting from hides, but for me, like a week-long safari, a hide should be like a 2 times thing. And then I'm done. And the only reason I say that is because your images are kind of the same from hides. You're not really looking for different pictures. You're more like looking for different species to come. Sure. The dream is still to have a leopard turn up at a hide, that type of thing. But when you're on Game Drive, forgetting the fact now that it's beautiful in yellow and green, just the fact that your shots change. You get such a larger portfolio of images when you're driving around, but also to have green and yellow in your portfolio is priceless.
But just to clarify though, my would you rather didn't exclude game drives in the dry season. You just had access to the hides as well. So just keep that in mind. It might or might not change your answer, but you can rewind and listen. That's what I said. You have access to the hides, but it doesn't mean that you can't do drives.
So
basically what I want to know is, do you prefer
I like a brown or
not
color? So I would still take the green season. If I look back through my Mashatu shots, the ones that still catch me the most and I find myself looking at them the longest is the colorful ones. So I would take the green season. And
luckily, in 3.5 months, you and I will be in Mashatu for 9 days,
absolutely,
hopefully photographing flyers. I can't wait.
I'm really hoping there's some yellow flowers. We've also just released 2027 dates as well. If anyone missed out on 2026 and wants to jump on 2027, would you rather book? Yes, you would, is the answer.
Go and check, guys. The link will be in the video description. And the reason I'm looking over my shoulder, I'm looking at the calendar. from the Valentine's Day. When last did you and I do a Valentine's safari together? From Valentine's Day 2026, follow along on Instagram stories because we'll be sharing our best moments and sightings and all the fun from Mashatu in the yellow flowers on a Panthera photo safari.
And it never disappoints. So I think we've changed the name away from yellow safaris just because the yellow flowers are not guaranteed. But even if they're not there, it is a fantastic time to be in the bush. It's beautiful and green. There's water around. There's always cats at Mashatu. I should stop saying that because one day it'll happen. But
it's magical, eh?
Yeah.
It's magical. That's one place that you can bank on,
absolutely.
Time of year.
Yeah. Right. So this is a slightly more serious question. Would you rather get the shot of your career, but you can see in the shot the animal is a little bit distressed, or would you rather miss the shot knowing you did it the right way?
I think I would rather miss the shot because not only do I not want to distress the animal, I also hate seeing those photographs on billboards or magazine covers where the animal is quite obviously stressed. And it's weird though, because I think the masses don't notice it. But you and I know what a leopard or a lion looks like, or even an elephant or something like that when it was distressed. It's that really alert look, a bit of a scowl on the face.
Yeah.
I'd rather miss the shot. And this is quite nice, a lead on to another episode on the podcast that we're going to be doing soon that'll be all about ethics and the ethics of wildlife photography. I won't say too much about it now, but keep an eye out for that. Come back to the Panthera Photo Safaris YouTube channel if you haven't seen it by the time this goes out. Subscribe if you haven't, because then you'll be notified when it comes out. Lance and I will discuss the ethics of wildlife photography in a different episode. But yeah, I would rather miss the shot, not distress the animal, and not have a photo where they look a little bit peeved.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
Right. Believe it or not, this is my last would you rather, but it's a good one. It's one I ask you because I've been thinking about it a lot myself, speaking of bucket lists. Would you rather go and photograph pumas in Chile or brown bears in Alaska? But I'm talking seaplane into a super remote area where there's no crowds.
Oh, you don't have to convince me. It's pumas in Chile.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Has that been on your bucket list?
It's on our bucket list. We've looked at it a few times. It's very expensive, unfortunately. There's two ways of doing it. There's the cheap way, which sucks. And then there's the good way, which is expensive. So that's your two options.
Explain why. Why?
So it's kind of like the national park versus the private traversing here. You can do the version where you stay on the road. So it's basically like driving through Kruger. So you can get super lucky. You can get a puma walking across the road right in front of you, but then it disappears and that's it. You can't get out. You can't walk after them. You can't trek. And then there's the version where you stay at the ranches and you are one of, say, 20 odd people that's allowed in a sighting, but you can walk. So if there's a puma in a certain area, you can walk up the side of the mountains over the most beautiful landscapes and follow the cats, essentially, or get in the right place if the cats are coming, be in the right place for photography. So it's two different things. It's basically like going to Kruger versus Sabi Sands.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, nice to know that was an easy answer.
Yeah, that was actually very easy.
So would you rather end the podcast now, or would you rather ask me one last would you rather?
Oh, I would rather ask you one more.
Okay.
One more. Yeah. Would you rather be famous for your wildlife photos, but never go on safari again? Or would you rather remain unknown, but you get to live your life in the bush?
No, it's easy. I would rather remain unknown and live my life in the bush. The funny thing is now people are recognizing me already because of the channel. So I'm already having to take a walk outside with a cap and glasses on, kind of like this.
Is that why you grew that moustache?
And then, both Tabby and I look like absolute poo first thing in the morning, like swollen faces. And then someone stops next to us like, hey, it's the safari expert.
And you have to have a selfie. Guys, if you ever see Philia in the bush, you have to get a selfie. The oak's famous.
I'd rather stay anonymous. Listen, Lawrence, this was a really fun one. I enjoyed that a lot, and I honestly think that we should do it again. So drop those comments down in the in the comments tab below, and give us your best would you rather suggestions. And Lawrence and I will think about a few more, and maybe in the next season we'll do it again.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Lekker man.
Would you rather me hang up, or would you like to hang up?
I would rather hang up myself.
Bloody rude.
See you guys next time. Cue outro song now.